What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. Thank you for clicking onto this reaction. I hope you're looking forward to it just as much as I am. If you haven't already, head over to the content creators page. That link is in the description box down below. If you haven't already and you're enjoying our content, you know what you need to do. You need to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, but we're going to jump straight into this one. So Iwo Jima Animated Part 4, the final Banzai and victory.
It's nearly midnight on the 8th of March 1945. At the Naval Air Group Command Bunker in northern Iwo Jima, Japanese soldiers prepare to launch a massive Banzai attack on the American invaders. Radio man Tsurugi Akikusa begs his comrades to take him with them, but he is still recovering from the wounds he suffered the week prior as he dashed across the
But a real US soldier, he didn't want to be left out.
Island to deliver a message to the bunker. He can only watch as his friends destroy their radio equipment and salute each other with a farewell toast. At midnight, Ensign Satoru Omagari leaves the bunker with a company of the 3rd Aircraft Maintenance Unit under the command of Lieutenant Hideo Koshi. Omagari and his men are aircraft technicians, and they have not been trained for combat roles. But they are willing to die for their country and have been given grenades to hide in their belts to detonate amongst their captors should they be captured by the enemy.
The ferocity of the Japanese soldiers is absolutely insane. The lengths they were willing to go to.
After 3 weeks of vicious combat, the Japanese defences on Iwo Jima are beginning to crack under the relentless pressure from the 3rd, 4th and 5th Marine Divisions. The previous day saw the loss of Hill 362C in the north of the island, one of the last Japanese strongpoints on Lieutenant General Tadamichi Kuribayashi's secondary defensive line. However, many Japanese men remain hidden in bunkers and caves throughout the island. Kuribayashi is intent on preserving his remaining strength as much as possible and forbids his rebellious commanders from ordering Banzai charges. Over the radio, General Kuribayashi begs his men not to throw their lives away. Those who are listening obey their commanding general, but others are not told of his instructions and climb out of their bunkers to take part in the assault. Omagari's company moves out with the 1,000 Japanese men taking part in the Banzai attack. They are told by their superiors that the objective is to recapture Mount Suribachi, but most men know they are headed to their deaths.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? How are you supposed to cover that much ground and actually achieve that goal?
They will also not have the element of surprise. The 4th Marine Division has noticed increased Japanese activity during the day, and its men are alerted to a possible attack. Lieutenant Koshi's men make their way across the Motoyama Plateau, past the Turkey Knob and Hill 382, which are still holding out. However, a star shell illuminates their position, and they are quickly hit by an American mortar barrage. The mortars kill most of the men out in the open, while Ensign Omagari hugs the ground. When it ends, he makes his way forward to ask Lieutenant Koshi for instructions, only to find him mortally wounded.
Literally, absolutely pointless. Literally pointless. They got out, the moment they got out, they started getting bombed by the mortars. What was the point?
Koshi tells Omagari to take over the attack and to leave him behind. Omagari leads the remaining men across the broken ground in front of them, braving American artillery fire. What's left of Omagari's company reaches a destroyed Shinto shrine near the airfield, where they find 400 naval troops crowded together in craters. The planning for the attack has been poor, and the leaderless Japanese units are making themselves easy targets by congregating. Marine artillery blasts the shrine, and the air maintenance company is forced to take cover. 2 hours pass, during which time one by one the men in the craters summon the courage to attack and leave the area to charge the American lines. Eventually, Omagari also leads his company away from the shrine towards the airfield.
Need to.
As they approach, they come under intense machine gun fire and are forced to try a different route. After walking for another hour, Omagari and his weary men suddenly find themselves in a quiet sector. Totally lost, he stumbles to a cave entrance.
This is absolutely crazy. The fact that these men are just basically doing all of this without orders and they're just trying to do their best. They have no real goal. They have no real plan. It is just a pointless, wasted mission and wasted loss of life. Like, holy.
Where a
shit.
hidden Japanese tank crewman asks him what he and his men are doing here. We are on a general attack. What attack? No such attack has been authorized. You must return to your post at once. Omagari and the tankman argue until Colonel Nishi of the 26th Tank Regiment appears. Nishi produces a written order from General Kuribayashi forbidding Banzai charges. Realizing he and his men have been lied to, Omagari and his men follow the tankmen inside the bunker, where they will spend the rest of the battle.
But at least those men basically found out what was going wrong and didn't have to waste their life anymore.
A head count reveals that only 20 of Lieutenant Koshi's original 100 men have survived the night. Those units that managed to charge the American positions are massacred, and the Marines will count almost 800 Japanese bodies the next day, at the cost of only 90 dead. The failed general attack marks a turning point in the battle. The remaining Japanese garrisons are severely weakened, and
it seems like a lot of men were killed for a pointless attack, and now they're not going to be able to defend as well.
Kuribayashi's secondary defensive line is slowly overcome as the Marines cut off and isolate the toughest strongpoints. The day after the doomed Banzai charge, a 28-man patrol from the 3rd Division reaches the northernmost coast of Iwo Jima, with their commanding officer sending a bottle of water from the captured beach back to General Erskine as a keepsake. On the same day, Hill 382 is finally neutralized after heavy fighting. With defeat imminent, Kuribayashi retreats to make his last stand in the northwest corner of the island, an area that will become known as Death Valley. The last phase of the battle is not without casualties. The US Marines continue to fight for every inch of the jagged, rock-littered ground north of the 2nd Airfield.
Literally, and you think at the start of this video they thought that the Japanese were just going to hand it over once they started losing, but they're literally having to fight for every single inch of this one small tiny island. So that's what made the US fear of what they would actually have to do if they invaded Japan. Like if the Japanese people were willing to fight over this one island for every single sort of inch of land, what were they willing to do for their homeland and their actual country, you know?
The Turkey Knob falls by March 10th, and the eastern half of the Japanese garrison is forced into a shrinking pocket. With the appalling casualties alarming the American public, the Navy cynically announces on the 14th of March that Iwo Jima is secured in an official flag-raising ceremony at the base of Mount Suribachi. Meanwhile, in the north of the island, Marine flame tanks are expending their napalm fuel at a rate of over 10,000 gallons a day to clear the remaining enemy emplacements. On the
10,000 gallons
21st of March, a third flag raiser, Private First Class Franklin Sousley, is killed by a Japanese sniper on the northwestern end of the island. On the 23rd of March, General Kuribayashi sends a final message to the nearby Japanese garrison on Chichijima. All officers and men of Chichijima, goodbye from Iwo. 2 nights later, 300 Japanese soldiers in Kuribayashi's last defensive stronghold slip out of their tunnels and caves. They make their way through Death Valley and head south towards the 2nd Airfield. So few of these men will end up surviving, so it is unclear how they managed to sneak through the American lines completely undetected in the dead of night. They creep silently through the ravines and gullies.
How many men got past the line
that the Marines have been fighting through for the previous month? Some US Marines would later report that they thought they saw shadowy figures in the darkness. Once on the edge of the airfield, the Japanese soldiers split.
Mate, that is impressive. The fact that so many of these soldiers are getting past the American lines to actually get to this, to get to the volcano point and reinforce that area.
And prepare to attack a newly constructed American camp. This tented area is currently occupied by Seabees, the 5th Pioneer Battalion, and 2nd Line troops who are unaware of the approaching danger. At just past midnight, the Japanese soldiers leap to their feet and give a loud Banzai as they charge towards the camp.
Holy shit. I didn't realise. Are they about to kill soldiers who are sleeping? Because that's
The confused
unfortunate.
Americans are awoken by the sudden attack. The Japanese slash men in their tents with bayonets, and then throw grenades and fire wildly.
That's fucking terrifying. And oh my god, imagine being asleep and then you just have to hear your pal next to you just getting bayoneted. You have no chance. You've got nothing around you. Holy. That level of stealth is on an absolute another level, Bruno. It's crazy how this many men were able to get right into the camps of the US military. That's insane. Where people were sleeping.
The fighting alerts a nearby Marine detachment and a shore battery of black soldiers who come to the support of the rear area troops. The fighting is desperate and vicious as the Americans try to regain their bearings. First Lieutenant Harry Martin of the 5th Pioneers organises a firing line in the middle of the camp which halts the Japanese attack. At the same time, Martin realises the enemy has surrounded some of the tents of his unit. Armed with only a pistol, he charges alone towards his trapped men and is wounded twice as he runs through enemy fire. He manages to reach his cut-off Marines and directs them back to friendly lines.
Yes! Go on, boy!
As they retreat, the Japanese capture a .30 caliber machine gun nest and turn the gun on the Americans. Martin again charges, firing his pistol at the machine gun nest and manages to kill all 3 occupants.
Mate, Martin is doing bits!
He calls for his men to follow him into a counterattack
This fucking
before he is
Donnie's
killed
sick.
by a Japanese grenade. For his
rest in peace, but you've done so much. You've done so much and you saved so many of your comrades' lives. Well played to you, my friend.
actions, Lieutenant Martin will be the last Medal of Honor recipient on Iwo Jima. By dawn, almost every enemy soldier has perished at the cost of 172 American casualties. It is believed that General Kuribayashi personally led this attack, but his body is never found.
What do you guys think? I don't think he did lead the attack. I don't think he did. And just to confirm, I think they said around about 1,000 soldiers snuck out. So that means that 1,000 Japanese soldiers lost in that battle, and only 150 American soldiers were lost.
The following day, the 26th of March, D+35, the local Marine commanders declare the island conquered. Easy Company of the 28th Marine Regiment attends a dedication of the new 5th Division Cemetery under the shadow of Mount Suribachi. 310 men, including replacements, served in Easy Company during the battle. Only 50 are left to attend the ceremony.
Only 50 men of the Easy Company were left. Holy shit, that poor company had to deal with so much.
The Battle of Iwo Jima is declared officially over on the 26th of March, after 36 days of fighting.
Look at that. Imagine you were on that island, sitting in a hut, in a foxhole, just hoping that these shells aren't going to be landing on you. Look at all that smoke in the background.
Over 2,000 Japanese soldiers remain hidden in the miles of tunnels and caves.
So there's still 2,000 soldiers left.
When the replacement occupation force of US Army units arrive, these hidden fighters will cause untold chaos. The 147th Regiment of the Ohio National Guard will continue anti-guerrilla activities to flush out these remnants for months after the Marines have left. Radioman Tsurugi Akikusa and Ensign Satoru Omagari will hold out until May before giving themselves up to the Americans. The last 2 Japanese soldiers will finally surrender on the 6th of January 1949.
1949. After the World War has finished.
In total, the Americans suffer over 27,000 casualties.
27,000! 27,000!
27 Medals of Honor are awarded to Marines.
Wait, I did hear that correctly. It wasn't 2,700, it was 27,000,
1949.
right?
In total, the Americans suffer over 27,000 casualties. 27 Medals of Honor are awarded to Marines on Iwo Jima, making it the most decorated single battle of the Pacific Theater for the United States Armed Forces. Admiral Nimitz will later say, "Among the Americans who served on Iwo Jima, uncommon valor was a common virtue." Of the approximately 22,000 Japanese defenders on Iwo Jima, only 1,080 survived to be taken prisoner.
Out of the 22,000 Japanese soldiers on the island, only 1,800 were taken as prisoner. That shows you how fanatical the Japanese people were. They were dying for their choice and their country. They wasn't getting captured. It was a very rare sign.
Over half of the remains of the Japanese fallen have never been recovered. This week on our new sister channel, the Intel Report.
Wow, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. What another reaction, well, what another great vid by the Operation Room.